Thank you very much for checking out the Best in the West. We are in LA County. This is a super custom, really nice video of a custom patio. I floated the patio and floated a 2-foot step below it. So I had to raise the patio up 18 inches, which you guys will see coming up. Because it had like a porch or a stoop that you would step up into the house. So we did it where we raised the patio level with the floor inside almost, and then put a step up from the ground up to that. You'll see coming up here. Here I am on my case. He had a barn door RV parking, so I could bring a bigger one. And I brought about 20 plus yards of road base in here, and we had to really get a good compaction and stuff. And the homeowner was very knowledgeable about construction, about everything. So I gave him someone, and they put that front wall in right there for stability, because he's putting a monstrous patio cover on top of this when we're all done, which I'll come back and film. That's him right there. I'll come back and film it. He's putting up a big elaborate patio cover on this. This is all sandwash concrete. So on the other side, we just poured a bigger footing and aborted the wall thing because it was slowing us down. So I told him I'll just pour that deep with a footing, and then he can stucco it the same way he stuccos the exposed part that he is going to stucco the house with. So this case absolutely runs like a watch. It's got about 1,100 hours on it. It's beautiful. I got Javier and Kevin with me. And we're going to spread this base out. We're bringing in over a couple 10-wheelers with it. Probably 22 yards or so. Spread it out, compact it. So that wall, that little pony wall wasn't there. We're just using it to shore up the base. And then it's going to, I'm going to put a step down, 2-foot step down to it. So there's no way really clean to do this. So you're going to spill it and it's going to go all over. So you just gangbuster it, get it in the backyard. I'm staging it to get, because he's going to bring another load, so I'm getting it back there as quick as I can so he can dump the other load where we're at, and I could cut him loose and we could groom it and clean it up. So I'm just going to spread this out as quick as I can. But you got to use a jumping jack on this and a vibra plate and soaking it also. So it's going to be all re-stuccoed. And the 2-foot step below is really nice. And then we're going to do the RV where I'm coming up the alley there on the side of the house with the base. We're going to pour all that in concrete, the driveway, and floating steps coming all the way down. I'm going to Newport Coast next to do a big job up there in a elaborate, above Crystal Cove, where Kobe Bryant and all them live up there, or he lived. I'm going to be working up in there. Oh, I'm super pumped. That's the second load there. And that was about perfect. We needed a little bit more. But it's hard to gauge it, and and how much you're going to sink it down by compacting it. And you don't want to get too much, and you don't want to get too little. Not enough, so it's kind of hard to gauge it, but you can come pretty close, But we're bringing it up, I think, 14 inches, and then 5 inches of concrete. Super hot up here. We're up kind of in the hill, kind of boxed in from the wind and the air, so it was pretty hot. It's about 100 degrees. And sometimes you look at these things and they look like cake, and you bid it. I mean, I'm really good at bidding them, and it comes out exactly what it should. But the last 2 days, I was tired and everyone else was tired. It was much more work than I had anticipated. Which, even with all the experience I have, it's still, you never know. For some reason, it just looks like bring 20 yards of base back, compact it, and set it up and pour. But, we got to do it in 2 pours. Because they're floating. We floated the porch, the patio, and we floated the step. There's my man Kevin. That's Javier's son-in-law. He's a cool guy. And Javier, you guys know him. And I brought my other friend Georgie right there with the hat on behind him. He worked for a company that I pumped for years, 20 years ago. I've known him. So he called me up. He seen me on YouTube. I brought him out. He did a great job helping us out. When you do these jobs, I give a lot of information, because I think in life you should help people, do things for people where they can never repay you. And the information I've given on here, I've freely given it, and I give more information than anybody. Before I started, no one told their mix design. I didn't know the implications of YouTube when I started. So I learned as I went and figured out very quickly, because I'm good at marketing. And I wanted to have signature stuff that I was known for. And then I didn't know the implications, like when I put that Stairway to Heaven up, I got calls for a year for stairs up hillsides, and I didn't want to make a career of that. So I'm like, man, I know it separated me from anyone else posting to show that I'm on a different level, but I need a signature. So I found that concrete bench with the fire pit. I thought that was going to be it, so I put that up. And it's just like the stairway to heaven. They don't want to pay 60 grand for a set of steps, but they're trying to get it to up on their property that's not usable, and they're going to flatten it out and have me build stairs to it and think their property's gone up $1 million, and they don't want to pay. So I put the concrete bench up there, and I thought that was going to be a signature. And I got so many calls for that constantly because I was trying to market myself in a certain lane in a different alley than everyone on here. And then I came across the floating steps, and I didn't think they were that hard because I'd done a bunch of them a long time ago. I thought they were basic. But when I put them on here, I really found out quickly that very few people can do them in the level that I do them, that they want it, that West Coast does. That's what they want. So I'm getting call after call after call. I'm at where I want to be as far as marketing it and who I want to be. And you got to find out who you are. Everyone should video their jobs and show customers and stuff. I mean, at the very least, somebody can see you work and want to hire you. I don't have to pay advertisement. I could not answer my phone for a year, and a year from now I'm still going to get calls for floating steps, driveways. They don't know that I've been on a hiatus or whatever, and I don't have to pay for clicks or pay any advertisement, which I never have, and I don't. It just seems like a total ripoff. I didn't understand it when they're saying you pay for clicks or give me your credit card number. Well, I'm not giving you my credit card number, bro, and you just tag me for leads. So I don't understand the paid advertisement. I've never done it. And God bless YouTube for coming out for a marketing purpose wise. And there's no way you could show people the work that you're doing, the amount of millions of people that can see you, as opposed to a paid per click or Facebook or whatever. They may work. I don't know. I've never done it. I just try and advise people because I get people from every state calling me, and I can't advise some people on East Coast and West Coast because it's completely different. Even 3 hours away, you see how a guy does something and another guy upstate does it. Is totally different. So a lot of places they need excavators. Here you don't. A lot of places they need swing tube pumps. Here you don't. So there's a lot of different variables that you have to figure out and do homework before you want to advance yourself or make a move. Because if you buy a ball valve pump and you're somewhere else, it's not going to work out for you. And if you're in California or West Coast and you get a swing tube, these guys with the ball valves will smoke you because they got the mix down. You need a 70-30, 70% sand, 30% rock. And I could show you the poundage of the sand and how many pounds of rock and how many pounds of cement. 3/8 pea gravel, that's what we use out here. Really good native soil. So here's Kevin. We're going to vibrate this down. We were using the whacker on it too. We had to use both. You want to get the perimeter really good to lock it in around with the jumping jack and then vibroplate it. So we had to use both because I couldn't get my tractor up against the house close enough, my bobcat or skid steer, excuse me. So Javier is getting elevation. That patio is going to be floating, 3.5 inch hangover, and then we got about 1.5 inch gap with another 2 foot floating step. And this is what I want to do and who I want to project who I am, because I mean, views, subscribers, I've never heard a customer, and they're millionaires, some of them that call me that I work for, and they just say, I've looked at it, they do their homework now. I looked at a bunch of YouTube channels when I saw you and what you did, and I knew you deliver, and that's what I wanted. And they know that you want to be known for not cheap, but worth it, But I have signature stuff, and all these people want floating steps. Who are they going to hire? There's nobody on YouTube that will pull them off. So they go through they do their due diligence and watch all the videos. And then they said, and this is proven, I've heard this so many times, once I saw you and your company and what you did, I knew it'd be more, and that's the quality I wanted. So that's what you want to have people say to you that are paying customers, public at large that doesn't know you, with an unbiased opinion. That's what you want to know. I'm not some bozo putting, a Georgia buggy on here with homeless people or whatever. That's just not my gig. I want to put the best work, because YouTube channels are so much work, but if you're using it as a paid advertisement and getting work from it, it's a viable source of income. But just to put YouTube up to get views and subscribers I don't really see the point in it. When you get to a certain point and you've got it big enough and the numbers back themselves, it's good enough. Whatever it does from there is fine. That's how you have to look at it. You basically want to get it monetized and keep working forward with it, and where the customer looks at it and You show what you do, and you show a good depiction of your business and your workers. You don't show incompetent people on your jobs if you're trying to move forward as a concrete channel and a concrete business. If you're trying to be a YouTuber, that's a different story. Then go that route or whatever route you want. Write a script. I don't know. Mine is just all off the cuff as I go. I never know what I'm going to say. I never watch these videos prior to doing them. They press play, I sit down, and here we go. It's always been spontaneous. It's never been thought out. The whole YouTube thing I've done. Like my business, I'll figure it out as I go. That's the setup there. I couldn't use my my buddy Greg Johnson because I'm in LA County. There's Scooby-Doo, there's Shaggy. We got 5 finishers. That's the homeowner there. Kevin and I. It's nice working with people who are knowledgeable, and he's a very knowledgeable homeowner and a very nice guy. Just somebody you would like in general, even if you weren't working with him. From the same era, and he was a cool cat. So I was in LA County. The guy with the truck, cement truck, told me that I'll bring a pump and just pay the operator. So I said, yeah, I don't want to drag my pump to LA. This is day 3 here, and I got to strip it and wash it. And then I didn't feel like dragging the pump back to my yard and then bringing it back the next day. So I just had him pump it both days, basically. He's got a brand new 545. Same pump I run, but he has a brand new one. It looked like it was maybe 6 months old, 3 months old. And we're just lifting the rebar as we go. These are 24 on center grid, number 3/8 rebar. You don't want to lift it too high because it will crack. You want it about in the middle or 1.5 inches off the ground. It's just to keep it all as one piece. Rebar won't help you with cracking or anything like that. It just gives it tensile strength, and if it lifts or heaves, it can't. It have to heave the whole slab, which nothing's strong enough to do that. So that's why we're using rebar. But we put microfibers in it for cracks and for the lip, the 3.5 inch hangover. So when you strip it and you're facing it, you don't have it fall off on you. Because I pump for people, and it's happened to us once where it fell off. And don't forget to check out Sydney Ray 05, my media assistant, on Instagram. She's amazing. She just graduated high school, so we took a couple months off, and now we booked 5 of them up, and we'll make our whole summer off probably 25 days worth of work. I'll net over 100,000 for the summer, and I took the first half off. That's what you do if you don't monkey around on here, and you don't give a depiction of people who are incompetent as your crew, because it's a reflection of you. People who are watching me, a lot of them are rich, so that's how I distinguish what I charge and who I am, and separate me in a different lane. I'm in a completely different lane that I've created in concrete bidding. Before, I was in there against 5 other guys, and basically they would pick the most competent or who the cheapest guy was, but it was a joke. You bid against 5 other people for a patio, and you're driving around wasting your time getting 1 out of 10 and trying to explain to them they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. So when they could listen to me, they can watch my crew, they can see my equipment, they can see me run it, they see my appearance and what I do, and the guys I have are the top of the line. Like anyone else you see here on YouTube would not be a finisher in my crew. And that's not to bag on anyone, because there's a different standard that they haven't learned. They could learn it, but it's very different in California. It's a way higher standard. It's the hardest game you're going to go into. If you're going to come here and try and be a concrete contractor with the amount of talent and competition in millionaire houses and billionaires in Laguna and Newport Coast and Corona Del Mar, it's very hard. But they like my style. They know I'm a beach cat. They used to call me the beach bum. So that's basically, everyone down here is beach people. They wear shorts, sandals. They're pretty laid back, very successful. It's not really like, oh, you got to wear boots or a hard hat. That's not going to, I've never worn any of that stuff. Wear what you're comfortable with. I don't wear boots because I want to be agile, because I climb up on walls and grout them, and I'm all over the place. And you trip in this rebar, you got to be careful. I've seen a lot of people get injured. So I wear tennis shoes because I want to be nimble. There's the footing we put instead of the block wall. I was over that block wall, and I don't really want to show us doing that because I don't want people calling me for block walls. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to particularly do Hillside Stairway to Heavens neither. If they pay me, they got 60 grand and they're serious, and it's in Laguna at a $20 million mansion, I know that they're serious. But people like Pasadena, Santa Barbara calling me all over, and I'm not going to waste my time. The one in Laguna that you guys saw me do, the Stairway to Heaven, that was no inspection and no engineer and no plans. That was for the fire department to have access, so I could just do it any way I wanted it. They just wanted access to the back of the property for the fire department. The front was super narrow and had an entrance to it, so the back needed something because it was just a dirt hill prior. So I could do it a la carte however I wanted to do it. And you saw the results of that. And if you keep putting stuff up like that, like this, and that nobody else is putting up there, you're gonna become very popular on here. And even if you're in your own area, whatever the standard and style is, be the best there, and people will notice. Don't bring incompetent people to your job. You got to get a pump. People's got to figure it out. We got this load down in a backyard with no access. How are you going to access this? Is 18 inches higher. 15-minute load, 20 minutes cruising. Oh, is that my boy Milton? Ladybug's doing a nice job editing. What do you guys think with these transitions and stuff? This is how we're going to mark the joints. Milton's got a pole with a hook on it tied to it, and then they mark it against the house, and then they mark it on the 2x6 in front of him. That's Milton right there. You guys seen him in my videos a lot. He runs a freelance finishing crews, with a lot of networking guys in it that need 5 guys. And when you call Milton and you need 4 guys and call them up and say I need 4 finishers, they're 4 top of line guys. So you could get the talents here. You can get whatever you want. That's why my work is so much superior looking than anyone else who posts on here. And these are just facts, and these are what consumers say. I don't need to say it. But I give a lot of information. I show a lot of tricks. I've showed my mix designs, straight cement, no fly ash. I've showed a lot of stuff on here that nobody would have showed you. Now everyone tells their mix design, but prior to that, nobody did. I started pretty early. There might have been 1 or 2 other guys, I believe, doing concrete videos. I don't remember. I never really checked it out that much when I first started. I was just trying to figure out a style, and that I didn't want to do it live in front of the camera because these are for customers and for other people who either do concrete or want to do concrete, or for ideas and different designs and stuff. It's all readily available on my channel. Just look at the difference in the level of work and crew that I have compared to any other crew on there. The California crews are really good, the West Coast on YouTube. I don't know too many names, or I haven't watched it in like a year, 8 months probably, or a year. It just got redundant. It was the same thing. I don't know. I'd rather go to the beach, hit some waves. This is how we got to cut the joints. That's a long run, about 44 feet that he's cutting here. So you just skate out on it, cut it. You got to cut it first with about 1.5 inches. You got to cut it deep. So the crack, it's a control crack, so you're controlling it to crack in that joint, and then use a 3/4 or 1 inch groover after it, and then a 1/2 inch through it again. So we're priming these joints out 3 times. We're using the cutter or the arrow, then we're using the planer, and then we're using the hand one on the skates when we're out there. Just look at the work. Here's the floating patio, and there's no step on this side, so I didn't want the block in here, so I just formed it up and poured it thicker right there, and then they could stucco that exposed when they stucco the house. But the front of the step that we're going to put in front here, that's on the grass, you can't see underneath of it. It's floating. It's 2 feet. It's 24 inches or 28. I'm not sure. And you got to have all the right tools to face this and edge it. It's got to be so detailed. And Javier running this stuff is, that's how I get 95% sales rate from YouTube calls. Because of my crew, because of their appearance, because of their work, because of my equipment. So you got to think of it that way. Put yourself as a consumer looking at your videos, what you would want to see and what would sell you if you're a serious concrete person. If you're a clown and you want to just put incompetent people and make a joke out of it, that's a totally different thing. It's not even really being a clown. It's just something they want to do, people want to do. But if you want to do concrete and you want longevity, because good work will never go away. And 10 years from 20 years from now, West Coast will still be relevant with people going through concrete videos, because they'll be looking at all my designs and all the custom stuff I do. This is top cast. People used to use muriatic acid and water and a sponge, and they would sponge it and get the exposed sand, and then they were all washing it down in the gutter in the street, and the EPA didn't dig it, so they came up with this at 000 EPA. But you still have cream when you wash it off. It etches 1/16 of an inch, I would guess, and exposes the sand, not the aggregate. There's about 12 different levels of exposing. This is just sand. This is a number 3. A number 15 will expose some aggregate also, but they don't really like to expose aggregate or even a little aggregate out here. It's just a straight sand finish. You know, it just etches about 1/16 of an inch, and it's a top cast. I wash it the same day, like 2 hours later. You can wash this, and it's just perfect. But we didn't do it that same day because we were burnt. So we came in the morning early, and we're pouring here at 9 today, the steps. So we got to get this top cast off. We generally just use a broom and water the same day, but it got too late and we were burned out. So we just came the next day. Look at that finish. I mean, that's my favorite finish. That's the best finish for a pool deck also. It feels so good on your feet, almost like a massage, and it's really, really good slip resistant product. But this patio is, I mean, people want custom beautiful work. This thing is a work of art. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm doing a set of floating stairs in Newport Coast next, and I'm doing a set of floating stairs and driveway on this house after that. So it pretty much made my summer, and I took 2 months off because my daughter graduated, my other daughter was off school, so we just did stuff all the time. There's a floating step there. When we pull that board, you'll see a 3.5 inch hangover. My brother D there. See, there's the finish there. It just exposes the sand. And there's the joints. That he wanted it as flat as possible because he's putting fans up. It's a very elaborate patio cover. That's his brand new 45. He also owns a cement truck too. So I'll come back, and he didn't want it to slope where you could see the grade on the house, so we had to like pitch it against the house, feather it against it, and then put a little swell in it so it looks flat. You know, it looked like it was less than 1%, but the water comes right out. It's going to have gutters on the house and that patio cover, so we could make it as flat as we wanted. And the water trickles and drains out the joints. It was so beautiful when we washed it off. And you always got to oil these forms. You either got to use, there's my boy there. You either got to use diesel or motor oil or some kind of repellent. If you forget it and you have WD-40, that'll work too. You just need a repellent so when you strip it, it doesn't honeycomb and the ledge doesn't fall off when you pull those boards. We pull them same day because you have to face it. But I mean, this job is just, it's another 10. It's another depiction of what West Coast does, what they're about. My man Javier is screeding this little thing out. I think we got about 1.25 1.5 gap on from the step to the floating patio. Looks really nice. I'll give you guys a good view of it after we pour and strip it in the video here. But we're coming with the best work, and it'll continually be the best work. Here's my man Milton. If you guys watched me long enough, he started off as a laborer. Like, what, 4 or 5 years ago? And now he's top of the line finisher. He's really good. And he knows all the finishers, so you just call him and get what you want. There's a gap there. There's a floating patio. And then the step below will be floated. It looks like it's 28 inches. Maybe 24. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a decent sized step. Always check out West Coast Custom Concrete on all platforms. And Sydney Ray 05 on Instagram. And she'll be going to college for editing coming up. So it's just going to get better and better. We got a tight knitting little crew. The best workers, best finishers. I like this design. Instead of having steps out of the house down to the patio, we raise the patio up flush with the floor. And then you step down. It's really nice. The patio cover, I'll come back and film it. He's going to have a TV in there, ceiling fans. It's going to be really nice. and a rain gutter around. So basically there's no water getting in there. You get efflorescence when the top casts the next few days. It looks kind of weird. But you can put white vinegar on it. It's a natural acid. If it's not bleached in parts in the shade, you can bleach it out. But I pour it straight cement, so it can only go one way. It's a timing issue. It might be a week, a day, a month, 6 months, but it's going to bleach out even. The places in the sun are obviously going to bleach quicker. Well, if you take the fly ash out, it's just going to take off. So this mix is a 3,000 psi straight cement microfiber. Here we're pulling the board. Here we pulled the 4x4 and everything today. Look at that work. I mean, this is just immaculate work. This is what I'm about. This is how I make money. And this is how I live the lifestyle that I do, and I don't have to work that much. My goal is to do about 12 to 15 sets of floating steps a year. And that's working about 40, 45 days out of the year. In your, 3, 4, 500K. And if I could get a big set. Here we are stripping them. Bang. And that's how you get the floating. So it's a 4x4, so it's a 3.5 inch hangover. And you got to go through each stage. You got to know the timing, because there's so many stages here with the bowl float, then the Fresno, then the magnesium hand float, then the steel trowel. There's so many things that you got to do, and we close it up and seal it up with a steel trowel. Look at that patio. The guy had really good taste who owned the house. He did the inside himself, and it was so nice. Right when I saw it, I knew this guy's down. He knows. And he found me on YouTube, and he knew that this would be delivered. This is what he expected, he told me. So Javier's spraying this on. I just think he's got to get a new sprayer. But that's the one he uses. The ones back east are better, like the bug sprayer ones in the metal can. They're like $200. I need somebody to send me one of those. They have Hudson sprayers here. They're like $200 or $250, but they plug up all the time. The one he has is almost better once he fixed the tip, because you want to put it on real heavy. I used to use 5 gallons of top cast for 800 square feet, but he uses a lot more, so I've switched to what he's doing, and I put it on a lot heavier than I used to. And you got to scrub it off anywhere where it oversprayed. It hit that other edge because it's inevitable. There's no way around it. So Kevin will sponge it off. He's very good with detail, and I don't have to say anything to these guys. I look and he's already on it. Or if I bring something up, they always go, yeah, we got it, we know. So I don't really say much, Everyone's equal out here. All these guys can cut joints. All these guys can screed. All these guys can skate it. All these guys could wash it. You know what I mean? You don't want to do videos and show incompetence on here, because the public at large won't have confidence in you. And they really study these. The people out here do anyway, but I mean, there's some really rich people out here, and they really educate themselves on like some of them talking from watching videos. I'm like, dang, this person never did concrete. They're pretty knowledgeable about it, So you'll see it with the bottom board pulled, how cool it looks. And I'll do a return video on this when he puts the thing up. You just got to get under the edge there also. You got to try and broom it under there and blast it. It's not hard washing it. The step we washed the same day and pulled all the forms. There you go. And he's going to put dirt up to it when he landscapes the backyard. Easy breezy, right, boys? You're watching a 10 out of a 10. And then Javier, he pounded a steel stake in it, and then wiggled it in the center of it, and then wiggled it out. That's how we were getting them out. Because you don't want to break that ledge. You break that ledge, and you're gonna have a cold joint. You got to put some Tapcon screws in there, and then repack it, reshape it, and sometimes it'll crack on you. Look at that. What do you guys think of that patio? That's amazing. Look. Coming up soon, I'm gonna be putting a pool in at my house, so that'll be all videoed. I'll show the whole routine of that. Check that out. Thank you very much for watching The Best in the West, and check Sydney Ray 05 on Instagram. And thank you very much for watching.